24 hours of the Passion, 8 a.m. hour. Jesus is dragged back to Pilate. Barabbas is preferred to Jesus, and Jesus is scourged.
Preparation before each hour. O my Lord Jesus Christ, prostrate in your divine presence, I implore your most loving heart to admit me to the sorrowful meditation of the 24 hours in which, for love of us, you wanted to suffer so much in your adorable body and in your most holy soul unto death on the cross. Oh, please give me help, grace, love, deep compassion and understanding of your sufferings as I now meditate this hour. And for those which I cannot meditate, I offer you my will to meditate them, and I willingly intend to meditate them in all the hours in which I have to apply myself to my duties or sleep. Accept, O merciful Lord, my loving intention, and let it be beneficial for me and for all, as if I effectively and in a saintly way accomplished what I wish to practice. Meanwhile, I give you thanks, O my Jesus, for calling me to union with you by means of prayer. And to please you more, I take your thoughts, your tongue, your heart, and with this I intend to pray, fusing all of myself in your will and in your love, and stretching out my arms to hug you, I place my head on your heart, and I begin.
My tormented Jesus, my poor heart follows you amidst anxieties and pains, and seeing you clothed as a madman, and knowing who you are, infinite wisdom, who gives reason to all, I become delirious and exclaim, how can this be? Jesus insane, Jesus a criminal, and as if this were not enough, you will now be placed after Barabbas. O my Jesus, unparalleled holiness, you again are now before Pilate. In seeing the sorrowful state to which you have been reduced, clothed as a madman, and knowing that not even Herod has condemned you, Pilate becomes more indignant against the Jews, and, even more convinced of your innocence, he does not wish to condemn you. And yet, wanting to give some satisfaction to the Jews, as if to appease their hatred, their fury, their rage, and their ardent thirst for your blood, he presents you along with Barabbas for them to choose. But the Jews cry out, we do not want Jesus released, but Barabbas. And Pilate, not knowing what to do to calm their rage, condemns you to the scourging. Beloved Jesus, seeing you placed last to all breaks my heart. And while the Jews occupy themselves with ensuring your death, you instead, recollected within, are occupied with communicating life to us all. As I attune my ears, I hear you say, Holy Father, look at me, your Son, clothed as a madman. May this condition of mine offer you reparation for the madness of the many souls who have fallen into sin. May this white garment with which I stand before you cleanse the many souls who clothe themselves with the sullied garments of sin. O Father, do you see their hatred, their fury, and their rage toward me? Do you see their thirst for my blood that nearly extinguishes in them the light of reason? I make reparation for all hatred, revenge, anger, and murder. I implore the light of reason for all. My Father, look at me again. Can there be any greater insult? They have preferred the greatest criminal to me. I make reparation for all the mundane preferences. Oh, the whole world is full of mundane preferences. To us, some prefer their own vile interests, while others prefer honours. To us, some prefer vanities, while others prefer pleasures. To us, some prefer their own attachments, and others their own honour. To us, some prefer to overindulge, while others prefer sin. As with one accord, all of my children prefer the most mundane things to us, and I am ready to accept them preferring Barabbas over me in order to make reparation for souls, preferring mundane things over us. Oh my Jesus, I am dying of sorrow and grief in seeing your great love amidst so many pains, and the heroism of your virtues before so many sorrows and insults. Your words and reparations resound in my poor heart like many wounds, and, in my torment, I repeat your prayers and your reparations. Not even for one instant do I wish to detach myself from you, lest many of the things you do should escape me. And now, what do I see? The soldiers take you to a pillar to scourge you. I follow you, my love, while you look at me with your loving gaze and infuse in me the strength to witness your painful torture. Jesus is scourged. My most pure Jesus, you are now beside the pillar, enraged. The soldiers untie you in order to bind you to it. But this is not enough. They despoil you of your garments in order to make a cruel massacre of your most sacred body. My love and my life, I feel I am about to faint from the sorrow of seeing you naked. You tremble from head to toe, and on your most sacred face appears a virginal blush. Your grief and exhaustion are so overwhelming that unable to stand, you are on the verge of collapsing at the foot of the pillar. But the soldiers sustain you to keep you from falling, not to help you, but so that they may bind you. They take the ropes and bind your arms so tightly that they immediately swell, and from the tips of your fingers blood flows forth. Then, from the ring of the pillar they pass ropes and chains around your most sacred body, all the way down to your feet, to be able to freely unleash themselves on you. They bind you to the pillar so tightly that you cannot move a muscle. My despoiled Jesus, allow me to pour out my love on you, otherwise I cannot go on seeing you suffer so much. How can this be? You, who clothe all created things, the sun with light, the heavens with stars, the plants with leaves, the birds with feathers, are stripped. What arrogance! And my beloved Jesus, from the penetrating light of his eyes, tells me, my child, be silent. In order to make reparation for the many souls who strip themselves of every modesty, purity, and innocence, it is necessary that I be despoiled of my garments. For such souls strip themselves of every blessing, of every virtue, and even of my grace to clothe themselves with every vice and live viciously. With my virginal blush I make reparation for the many acts of dishonesty, laxity, and indulgence in vice. Therefore, be attentive to everything I do, pray and offer reparation with me, and be at peace. Scourged Jesus, your love moves from one excess to another. I see that the executioners take whips and beat you so mercilessly that your entire most sacred body is swollen with welts, and the fierceness and fury with which they beat you is so violent that they have quickly exhausted their strength. But two more take their place, and taking thorny rods, beat you so much that soon the swollen welts are torn and rent, and rivers of blood begin to pour forth from your most sacred body. They then beat your body all over, forming furrows that with greater blows become transformed into gaping wounds. But this is not all. Two more take their place and, with chains of hooked iron, continue the excruciating massacre. At the first blows, your flesh, already beaten and bloodied, tears open even more and falls to the ground in pieces, exposing your bones, and so much blood pours out that a pool of blood forms around the pillow. O my Jesus, my despoiled love, while you are under this storm of blows, I cling to your feet, to partake in your pains and be completely immersed with your most precious blood. Each blow you receive is a wound to my heart that is further wounded when, in attuning my ears, I hear your groans, which are not heard by others, as the air is filled with the storm of the blows. And in those groans you say, all of you who love me, come and learn the heroism of true love. Come and in my blood overcome the thirst of your passions, your many ambitions, fleeting adventures, pleasures and exceeding sensuality. In my blood you will find the remedy for all evils. Your groans continue. O Father, behold me completely bruised and broken under the storm of blows, and yet this is not enough, as I wish to form as many wounds in my body as there are souls, so as to acquire for them a place in the heavens of my humanity. By this means I will obtain their salvation within myself, and make them pass into the heavens of my divinity. My Father, may every blow of the scourging offer reparation before you for every kind of sin, one by one. And as they strike me, may these blows justify those who inflict them. May they strike the hearts of souls and speak to them of my love, to the point of compelling them to surrender to me. And as you say this, your love is as great as your sorrow, which almost incites the executioners to beat you more. Beloved Jesus, despoiled of your own flesh, your love crushes me to the point where I am beside myself. Your love does not grow weary, whereas the executioners are exhausted and cannot continue with your painful massacre. They cut the ropes and you, almost dead, collapse in your own blood. In seeing the shreds of your own flesh, you feel like dying of grief, as in those detached pieces of flesh you see condemned souls, and your sorrow is so great that you grasp in your own blood. O my Jesus, allow me to take you in my arms and to refresh you a little with my love. I kiss you, and with my kiss I enclose all souls in you, so that not one soul may be lost. And may I have your blessing? Reflections and Practices by Saint Hannibal de Francia. From 8 to 9 a.m. Jesus is despoiled of his garments and subjected to the cruel scourging. And are we despoiled of everything? Jesus is tied to the pillar And do we let ourselves be bound by love? Jesus is tied to the pillar, and yet we, not satisfied with the chains with which the Jews tied him, give him our own lashes through our sins, attachments, and sometimes things that may in themselves be objectively immoral or good. Despite our behavior, with his merciful gaze, Jesus beckons us to untie him. Do we not see in that gaze a reproach, as we too have contributed to binding him? To comfort afflicted Jesus, we must first remove our own chains before we can remove, as we ought, the chains of others. Many times these little chains of ours are nothing other than little attachments of our own will to our self-love that is a bit resentful, to our little vanities, which, forming a braid, painfully bind beloved Jesus. Sometimes, taken by love for our poor soul, Jesus himself seeks to remove these chains from us, so that we may not repeat his painful binding. Oh, when we complain for not wanting to be bound alone with Jesus, we cause him sorrow and force him to withdraw from us. While our tormented Jesus suffers, he offers reparation for all the sins against modesty. And are we pure in mind, in our gazes, words, and affections, so as not to add more blows to that innocent body of his? Are we always bound to Jesus, so as to be ready to defend him whenever souls strike him with their offences? My enchained Jesus, may your chains be my own, so that I may always feel you within me, and may you always feel me within you. Thanksgiving after each hour. My beloved Jesus, you have called me in this hour of your passion to keep you company, and I have come. The most touching and eloquent words, I seem to hear you praying, offering reparation, suffering and pleading in anguish and sorrow for the salvation of souls. I tried to follow you in everything. Now I owe you my heartfelt thank you, and I bless you. Yes, O Jesus, I repeat my thank you thousands and thousands of times. And I bless you for all that you have done and suffered for me and for everyone. I thank you and I bless you for every drop of blood you shed. I thank you for every breath, heartbeat and step. Thank you for all the words, glances, afflictions and affronts you lovingly endured. For everything you did, O Jesus, I offer you my thank you and I bless you. O my dear Jesus, let my soul send forth a continuous flow of thanksgivings and blessings. May they draw down on all of us the flow of your blessings and graces. O my sweet Jesus, press me to your heart and, with your most sacred hands, mark every particle of my being with your I bless you, so that my being may send forth a continuous hymn of blessings to you.